Productions. Hiya Monstaz, and thanks for stopping by. Now tonight, Monstaz, we have an eerie Tf2 creepypasta called The Pyro. Now this creepypasta is written by my man TheRJsChannel, so let's give big shouts and thanks to him. Now Monstaz, there's gonna be a link in the description for the original story. Be sure to go give big shouts to TheRJsChannel and also check out his other content because he's got some really cool stories. And Monstaz, big shouts out to you guys too, because if it wasn't for you guys, where would we be? So enough with the fuss. Alright Monstaz, well let's get into it and let the story begin.
A Tf2 Creepypasta, The Pyro.
I love TF2. It's one of my favorite games and the go-to game whenever I'm bored or get home from school. But there was this incident that kept me from playing for half an entire summer. Let me start from the beginning. Now, it all started around May of 2015. I was a freshman at the time, and I was relieved that I only had one more month of my first year of high school. When I got home, I went down to my room and immediately got on my computer and turned on TF2. I decided to load up an upward map during the time when Quick Play was still around. I went to play as the engineer on red. Now, when the spot doors opened, I threw down an entrance and began building a sentry and dispenser. But while my dispenser was building up, I noticed a teammate, Pyro. He did not have much on him besides the dark green Foster's facade, and that was it. He just stood there, staring at me through his mask. It was about 30 seconds till the mission began, so I gave the "Go, go, go" command. He stared at me for a couple of more seconds, and then ran off to do whatever Pyros do. It was at least 2 minutes into the round and my team was getting pushed back a bit. I was shooting at some enemies and trying to defend my stuff, when all of a sudden, my game froze. I groaned and sat back, arms crossed. That's when I noticed something that now gives me chills. It was that Pyro, the same one with that dark green Foster's facade. And at first I thought it was a funny coincidence he or she'd been standing there, but something did not feel right. The Pyro was just looking at me, with a shotgun out and facing towards me, lifeless and blank. I shuddered. Now, after the game unfroze, I was in my team's spawn. I had been killed while frozen and everything but my teleporter entrance was destroyed. The last few minutes we were able to keep the blue team at bay and eventually win. But I just couldn't get the image out of my head. It didn't feel like that Pyro was just conveniently placed there. It felt like he was looking at me from behind the screen. Well, after that game, I decided to jump to a different payload map, Borneo. This time I went sniper and played on the attacking team. It was a very heated battle moving up. I was on the card, scoped in, and the game froze again. Instead of feeling frustrated, I just wanted to jump up and dive straight up into the ceiling. I felt dread crawling up my back. It was that Pyro from the upward. He was still on red and still had the dark green Foster's facade. Only this time he also had a pyromancer's hood. He was staring right at me. It was scary enough I saw him staring at me earlier, but through a sniper's scope it's 10 times worse. And then the screen goes black and then I'm back on my desktop. I just sat in my chair, paralyzed. That's when I got a trade request from someone named Fearful Stare. I ignored the ironic username and looked at what he was offering me. It was a strange professional killstreak Australian extinguisher named Look Out Your Window. Now after that I closed the tray tab and turned off my computer, and I looked outside my window to the front door. There looked to be someone wearing a really big hood and wearing one of those gas masks that was painted dark green. I grabbed my metal baseball bat and I darted out that front door to confront this guy. But he was gone. I ran to where the guy stood and looked for his footprints, but didn't see any. I was absolutely mad. I was shouting for him to come out where he was hiding and swinging my bat around like a lunatic. My mom then came out and asked me what the hell was I doing screaming out in the front lawn. I stopped and just stayed silent, and then I walked back in. I decided to take a break from playing the game for a while, but watched some TF2bers to make up for it. I eventually got back into playing it around the end of June. Thankfully, I never saw that Pyro again, and it never really stopped me from playing the Pyro class. He is easily my second, if not first favorite class, but I will tell you one thing, I am never, ever getting a Foster's Facade, especially dark green.